Unlike many other classrooms, the World Language Classroom operates under national standards that were created by the American Council on the Teaching of Foreign Languages. Fondly known as the 5 Cs, these guidelines are broad yet comprehensive statements that guide the content to be presented to any students in any world language classroom. As stated on the ACTFL website, the 5C goal areas, communication, cultures, connections, comparisons, and communities, stress the application of learning a language beyond the instructional setting. The goal is to prepare learners to apply the skills and understandings measured by the standards, to bring a global competence to their future careers and experiences. Clearly, at the heart of any language is the goal to effectively communicate. These forms may be interpersonal, interpretive, and presentational for speaking and writing. In interpersonal communication, interaction between at least 2 individuals is the key. For interpretive communication, language learners understand and analyze both written and spoken forms. Unlike the other 2, presentational communication focuses on the creation of information that can be shared through explanations, persuasive essays, and speeches, or narrative forms, which is the very essence of digital storytelling. Additionally, digital storytelling activities allow students to fulfill the other C standards. For example, a student could tell a story about a family, like shown here. Dining habits or religious beliefs, thus fulfilling cultures. When doing presentations, listening, reading, and interacting with new content, other students are empowered to draw connections and make comparisons. For example, a narrative about a student's life in Africa would allow American students to compare political, racial, and economic differences and similarities. Finally, when digital stories are published or shared authentically, the community standard is fulfilled. The goal of this standard is for language learners to use the language for interaction beyond the classroom walls, publication endorses. It also empowers students to become lifelong learners since they see the value and benefits of the language in realistic situations rather than isolated experiences limited to a school setting. Digital storytelling is indeed a powerful tool for L2 learners. It expands vocabulary, improves pronunciation and fluency, and encourages students to look at language as a whole product rather than fractured parts like grammar, etc. In regards to technology, again, the World Language Classroom does not have formally adopted standards. However, my district encourages the use of the ISTE standards. Therefore, I have adopted them into my curriculum. Within the past year, these standards have been updated to include the following: empowered learner, digital citizen, knowledge constructor, innovative designer, computational thinker, creative communicator, global collaborator. As I reread the new and revised standards, I was struck at how they overlap with the World Language Standards. The goal in each is to have students that can do the following: communicate, and that applies to communication and number 6 of the ISTE standards. Think by comparing and connecting. That's comparisons for world language and connections, and also number 5 for the ISTE standards. Thrive in a culturally savvy and global environment. For world language, that's cultures, and for ISTE, that's number 7. And maintain membership in a community or global group. That for world languages is communities, and 7 for ISTE. In the World Language Classroom, I feel like storytelling is embedded into the curriculum. For me, it's not a question of does it fulfill the standards, it's more a question of what apps should I implement in the classroom. That's one of the reasons I'm taking this class, so that I have greater exposure to resources.